So we have with us today Hardy Williams. The headline that I'm looking at says, "Long before Kaepernick sat, LA teacher stood up to authority in anthem protest." And I'm going to read one of the quotes from you in this article that I'm reading, speaking about your protest. Williams said of turning his back to the flag, "It's not true, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We all know it's not liberty and justice for so many people in America. It's not an even playing field. So if I were to do that, I would be cheating myself. I just cannot do it. I would die before I salute the flag to America. It bothers me that much and all the people I've seen suffer." So that's Hardy Williams. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, Ms. Jones.
So could you introduce yourself a little? So as I mentioned in the headline, with the Colin Kaepernick protests that we've been following up here in Canada and also on the show. So you were doing this 30 plus years ago, refusing to stand for the anthem, but you were coaching football at the time. So could you give us a bit
correct.
of background?
Yeah, I was doing it long before 1985. I was doing it in the 70s.
Okay.
It just happened that this particular principal at the time, he didn't like my stand, and so that's why the lawsuit followed and so forth.
Yeah, so could you speak a bit about that? So to give some background, so you have always refused to, and you were turning your back, is that what you were doing to the anthem?
Yes, LA Unified, well, a lot of high school games, both the school bands, the home team and the visiting band, they would come on the field and they would play the national anthem. So both teams, the home team, LA High, and the visiting team, they would, stand in attention. And so what I did, I would just turn, when the anthem would start playing, I would just turn my back. And after the anthem was finished, then I would turn back around, and then the kickoff would ensue. So this particular principal at the time, he didn't like me doing that, and so he called me on it.
It says in the article that he said that you were being a bad influence, and you had to get faculty members to sign an affidavit saying you were not disturbing them by your protest.
Right. Actually, I at the time I had about a little over 30 faculty members that said that they didn't see anything wrong with what I was doing at the time, and actually I had more white teachers sign it than black teachers.
So you said you've been doing this since the 70s. Were you influenced at all by Harry Edwards, the protests at the Olympic Games in Mexico City with John Collis and Tommy Smith?
No, I wasn't influenced by Dr. Harry Edwards. I mean, I know of Dr. Harry Edwards. I've read some of his things, but no, I wasn't influenced by anyone except myself. I just knew that I couldn't do this because, as I stated in the article, one nation under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. It's not justice for all people. It's not justice for Native Americans, Latinos, blacks, people of color. And so I couldn't do it then, and naturally I can't do it now. And it would just hurt me too bad by doing it, because I look at it as by me taking a stand and giving my attention and standing erect with my hand over my heart for the anthem or for the flag salute. It's not true, and I just could not look at myself in the mirror and do that, because I know I would. It's wrong, so I couldn't go along with it, and I still can't go along with it. I wasn't trying to make it stand on a soapbox or anything like that. So I really heard little flack concerning it. I know it was the lawsuit stated that for a period of 2 years I couldn't say anything, and I was not trying to make it seek any publicity or anything. And how this came about was that when Kaepernick took his stand, some of my former players, they called into the LA Times and stated that, look, my coach was doing that long before Kaepernick, and so that's what started the whole situation.
Obviously, with the passing of Muhammad Ali and then Kaepernick's stand, there's a kind of renewed attention to the role that athletes can have in raising the consciousness of black people. So What would you say about that, just the importance of athletes in particular speaking out and the influence that that has?
Oh, well, like Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali is definitely one of my heroes. And as far as athletics, you have so many athletes today because of the dollars and cents that they make. I think deep down inside, they know that they should take a stand. But as they say, like their particular brand, that's what's the term that's used right now, that they cannot economically afford to do this. And, each person has to look at his or herself. And I don't agree with that. You look at Muhammad Ali, he would refuse to go to the service. And for like 3.5, almost like 4 years, some of the best athletic years of his career were taken away. So the United States, because being a Muslim, and they say like here in the United States, they say like a black Muslim, that they did not stand for that. A person, how can you like tell us what to do as far as America? I know even Dr. King, when he started talking about the Vietnam War, I mean, he was criticized for talking about the Vietnam War. I'll always will remember that. He even started to like grow his hair out, like for like having like a natural, like somewhat, before he was assassinated. And Muhammad Ali, probably more so than any human being in the last probably 200 years on this earth, is probably the most popular person, period. I mean, more so than heads of states, of nations, and so forth. So when other athletes took the stand that Muhammad Ali did, like you had Tommy Smith, you had John Carlos during the 68 Olympics. And actually, Tommy Smith, he actually was a track coach at Santa Monica College. Santa Monica is an area right by the beaches. It's a few miles from L.A. Santa Monica and L.A., you can't tell the difference from one like location to the other, except that Santa Monica is a lot more plush because you're close to the beach. But I know he was a track coach there for over 25 years. And he and John Carlos, Tommy Smith taking first, John Carlos taking third in the 200-meter finals. At that particular time during the Olympics, they were ridiculed, and I never will forget that they told Tommy Smith and John Carlos, they immediately made them leave the Olympic Village immediately. And I also recall that during that same time, I know Mark Spix, he was like the number one swimmer at that particular time. And one of the U.S., they wanted the swim relays. They had won the gold medal, and they were on the victory stand just like Tommy Smith and Carlos were. And I remember the anthem was being played, and they were not standing at attention. They were talking during the time the anthem was played, yet no one said anything. This is it's, like I said, it's not an even playing field.
Are you in support of Black Lives Matter and what the young people are out doing in the streets?
Oh, of course. I know I graduated from Dorsey High School it's in the LA Unified, and at the time that I graduated from Dorsey High, it was the most integrated high school in the United States. By integrated, I was like you had black students, we had white students, and the Asian students there were Japanese. So I know they had a program was telling about Dorsey being the most integrated high school in the United States. Of course, I stand up for Black Lives Matter. It is so ludicrous. The current situations that just happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and in North Carolina. These things, they happen too frequently. And black males are just targeted at random. And this is nothing new. My great grandfather, he was lynched. Myself and my brothers and sisters we were born in Los Angeles. My parents are from Louisiana, and my great grandfather on my father's side, he was lynched in Louisiana. And so this is nothing new. It's just now it's coming to the forefront because of modern technology. It can't be hidden like it was at one time. Like if I could say like one thing, like at Muhammad Ali's, one last thing, his funeral, this individual, he brought it up like the Star Spangled Banner. Like Francis Scott Key. I'm sorry. Like he was a slave owner. His father, his father-in-law owned Frederick Douglass. And it's a part in the third and fourth verse that they don't. It's in here right now as I speak, and they never say it. They never say it. It goes like no refuge could save the hireling. The hireling, a person makes very little money, and the slave from the terror of night or the gloom of the grave. Oh, say does that Star-Spangled Banner yet wave? That's in the Star-Spangled Banner right now, but they omit it when they, at performances and so forth when it's sung.
Wait, can you say that lyric again?
Okay. No refuge could save the hireling and the slave from the terror of night or the gloom of the grave. Oh, say does that Star-Spangled Banner yet wave? That's in it right now, but they don't ever say it.
Oh,
so
wow.
could you imagine like a black person, a person of color, standing up for that? And that's why it's omitted. I know Stephen A. Smith, he's a commentator for like on ESPN, and not until like 2009, like the NFL, the teams did not come out to for the national anthem. That started in 2009. The U.S. government, they paid the NFL a little $5.4 million for the teams to come out and show patriotism. Like after that, like 2011, if I'm not mistaken, they paid the National Guard $6.4 million to come out. 6.4, 6.8. It was $6 million, so that it would like enhance recruitment and recruitment and so forth. See, these things are never brought out. They're starting to be brought out lately. That's why it's so important for our youth to read and so forth. It's very important. If you don't read and don't comprehend what you read, it's a shame.
So that's a good note to end on, because that's what this show is also about, is educating people and getting information. Perhaps we will talk to you again. Would you be open to that? To call us another time?
I would.
All right. That would be great. Thank you so much. And
thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for all you've been doing as well.